On December 2, 2025, Tennessee voters headed to the polls for a special congressional election in the 7th District. The air was thick with anticipation, as neighbors gathered at local schools and churches to cast their ballots, aware that this was no ordinary election day. What seemed like a local race quickly became a national story, grabbing headlines and dominating cable news discussions across the country. It was the last congressional election of the year, a test of the country's mood and President Trump's influence. Political observers watched closely, seeing it as a bellwether for the battles ahead in 2026. Both parties poured in money and attention, knowing every seat mattered in a closely divided House. Campaign ads flooded the airwaves, and volunteers worked overtime to get out the vote. Republicans needed to hold the seat to show their message still resonated, especially in a district they'd long considered a stronghold. Democrats saw a rare chance to prove they could compete, even in deep red territory. Their campaign energized new voters and brought national attention to the district. The seat opened after Republican Mark Green retired, sparking a fast, high-stakes campaign that left both parties scrambling to define the race. The outcome would either give Republicans breathing room or deal them a blow, with the balance of power in Congress hanging in the balance. In the end, Republican Matt Van Epps won, becoming the 220th GOP member in the House. His victory speech promised unity, but the mood was cautious. But the real story was the margin. The race was far closer than anyone expected, with just a few thousand votes separating the candidates. Republicans didn't get their usual easy win. The narrow result left party leaders uneasy, questioning their grip on the district. The close result sent shockwaves through both parties. Analysts debated what it meant for the national map and the upcoming midterms. It signaled that the political ground in Tennessee, and maybe the country, was shifting. Leaders everywhere took notice, realizing that no district could be taken for granted. The future of American politics suddenly looked less predictable, with new questions about voter loyalty and party strength. This small race had big implications, echoing far beyond Tennessee's borders and into the heart of Washington. The message, no seat is truly safe anymore. Every election, no matter how small, can change the course of the nation's future. The race for Tennessee's seat was defined by two sharply contrasting candidates, each representing not just their party, but two very different visions for the state's future. Republican Matt Van Epps and Democrat Afton Bain stood at the center of a contest that drew attention far beyond Tennessee's borders. Van Epps, a military veteran and political newcomer, ran on a platform rooted in conservative values, fiscal responsibility, a strong military, and traditional family ideals. He promised to bring discipline and a sense of duty to government, drawing on his years of service. He championed gun rights and parental control in education, aligning himself closely with Donald Trump and the priorities of the modern Republican Party. Trump's endorsement and strong national GOP support made Van Epps the clear choice for the party's base, energizing conservative voters across the district. Afton Bain, a state representative, energized grassroots supporters, with her focus on affordable health care, women's rights, and expanding access to education. She spoke passionately about building a fairer Tennessee for working families. She challenged Republican policies head-on, arguing for a future that worked for everyone, not just the wealthy or well-connected. Her campaign was about inclusion and opportunity. Ben drew backing from national Democrats, including Kamala Harris and Al Gore, and progressive leaders like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who saw her as a rising star in the party. Her campaign was powered by young volunteers and first-time voters, reflecting a new energy and hope in the district. Many saw her as the voice of a new generation. The two candidates embodied America's political divide, each rallying their supporters with sharply different messages and priorities. Van Epps represented the Trump-aligned GOP establishment, promising to defend conservative values and resist what he called radical changes. Bain stood for a progressive, people-powered movement, determined to bring new voices and fresh ideas into Tennessee politics. Their campaigns turned what might have been a routine local race into a national battleground, drawing media coverage and political attention from across the country. The choice for voters was stark, and the nation was watching closely, aware that the outcome could signal the broader shifts in American politics. The outcome would reveal more than just a winner. It would show which vision for Tennessee, and perhaps for the country, was gaining ground. Tennessee's 7th district was long considered a Republican fortress. For over 40 years, no Democrat had won here. Trump carried the district by 22 points in 2024. Mark Green won re-election by 21. The district's mix of rural areas, small towns, and Nashville suburbs made it a GOP stronghold. In 2022, Republicans redrew the district to make it even safer, removing Democratic-leaning areas. Gerrymandering was meant to lock in Republican dominance. With this history, the GOP expected another landslide. Democrats knew the odds but aimed to prove they could compete anywhere. The stage was set for a political shock. No one expected the margin to shrink so dramatically. The district's history made the 2025 result all the more surprising. When the votes were finally counted, the results stunned both parties and left political analysts scrambling for explanations. No one had expected such a dramatic shift in a district long considered a Republican stronghold. Van Epps won with just 53.9% to Boehner's 45%, a margin of only 9 points, far narrower than anyone had predicted. That was a 13-point swing toward Democrats in just 1 year, a seismic change that sent shockwaves through the state's political landscape. Every county in the district shifted blue, including deep red suburbs and rural areas that had reliably voted Republican for decades. In Davidson County, Boehner's margin soared, energizing local Democrats and surprising even seasoned campaigners. In Williamson and Montgomery, GOP leads shrank dramatically, signaling a broader shift in voter attitudes. Turnout was high for a special election, matching midterm levels and showing just how engaged the electorate had become. This wasn't a fluke. It was a real shift in voter sentiment, driven by months of grassroots organizing and changing priorities. Boehner's campaign mobilized young and first-time voters, changing the district's political map and bringing new energy to the race. For Democrats, losing by just 9 points in a safe district was a breakthrough, a sign that their message was resonating in unexpected places. For Republicans, it was a wake-up call, forcing them to reconsider their strategies and outreach efforts. The numbers told a clear story, the old rules no longer applied, and the political landscape was evolving faster than anyone had anticipated. Both parties realized the ground was shifting beneath them, and that future elections would be anything but predictable. The surprise in Tennessee became a warning for the nation, signaling that change was not just possible, but already underway. Publicly, Republicans celebrated holding the seat. Leaders like Speaker Mike Johnson called it proof of continued GOP strength, but behind closed doors, concern grew over the narrow win and the millions spent to secure it. Suburban voters were slipping away, and Trump's low approval ratings loomed large. Democrats, meanwhile, called the result a moral victory. They'd slashed the GOP margin by 13 points and energized their base. Party leaders saw a roadmap for winning in tough districts. Boehner's campaign showed that focusing on healthcare and affordability could move voters, even in red states. The close result thrilled Democratic strategists and donors. Both parties spun the outcome, but the numbers spoke for themselves. Republicans faced new doubts about their strategy. Democrats saw momentum and opportunity. The Tennessee race became a case study for the battles ahead. The message change is coming, whether parties are ready or not. The Tennessee race spotlighted a major trend. America's suburbs are now the key battleground. Once reliably Republican, suburbs like Williamson County are shifting. Van Epps still won there, but by a much smaller margin. Suburban voters are younger, more diverse, and less tied to party lines. They care about affordability, healthcare, and education, issues Boehner emphasized. This trend isn't unique to Tennessee, it's happening nationwide. Both parties now know suburban swing voters will decide future elections. Republicans can't rely on old loyalties. Democrats see new opportunities if they address real-life concerns. The suburbs are where the next Congress, and maybe the White House, will be won or lost. The 2025 special election made that crystal clear. The close result in Tennessee sent shockwaves through Washington. Political experts saw it as a warning for Republicans ahead of the 2026 midterms. If a 13-point swing happened nationwide, dozens of GOP seats could be at risk. Districts once considered safe now look vulnerable. Democrats gained confidence, seeing a path to retake the House. The Tennessee race became a model focus on affordability, mobilize new voters, and compete everywhere. For Republicans, the message was clear. No seat is guaranteed. They'll need to rethink their strategy and shore up support in the suburbs. Retirements and weak economic messaging add to their challenges. The political map is being redrawn in real time. The Tennessee earthquake forced both parties to prepare for a much tougher fight in 2026. The stakes for control of Congress have never been higher. The lesson: ignore warning signs at your own risk. The Tennessee special election was more than a local contest. It was a preview of America's political future. A deep red district nearly flipped, thanks to shifting suburban voters and new campaign strategies. Democrats now have a roadmap, focus on affordability, healthcare, and grassroots organizing. Republicans face a challenge: adapt or risk losing their strongholds. The 2026 midterms will be more competitive than anyone expected. Dozens of safe seats are now in play. Both parties are rethinking how to win over suburban America. The lesson: no district is truly safe, and every vote counts. What happened in Tennessee could shape who holds power in Washington for years to come. The future of American politics will be decided in places just like this.